Hello, this is Desiree Delahan. This is my ePortfolio comp review for my building leadership degree. The first page I have is my candidate information, and that includes some personal information about myself. I am married and I have two sons. I graduated with my bachelor's back in 2007. And then I also have some personal and professional goals, and those are listed up here as well. My number one here is to graduate from FHSU here with my master's in building leadership. I'm very excited for May. The next page I have is my leadership philosophy. And I thought that instead of just talking about what I think good leaders are, I decided to talk about the characteristics of leaders and things that make them good leaders. I did start with a quote, and right there it says, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." And that's by John C. Maxwell. And I think that's extremely important. I think that a good leader is a model, and they believe what they model, and they do what they think that everybody should do. They're not making any exceptions for themselves. They're showing everybody how to act by the way they're acting themselves. As for those characteristics I was talking about, I think that good leaders are relationship builders. I think that good leaders are collaborators, and they work with their team because that team is what keeps that school running. I think good leaders are also flexible because things can happen in a moment's notice, and you're going to have to make changes to make sure that the school is still running, even if it's something you had not planned for. And then I think a good leader is also an organizer. And I feel that this is something that's especially important for me because I know as a teacher, I feel like I need to be an organizer and I need to keep everything in its right place and I need to have a plan for things. And I think that that's going to carry over well one day when I do decide to become a building leader. Next is my program of study. I started this program in the fall of 2017, and as you can see here, I have my classes listed and the dates that I took them all the way down here. Next, I have my resume. And as you can see, the biggest bulk of my public school teaching is right here in Garden City, this where I currently am. I am on my 5th year teaching here. Before that, my husband had decided to join the Army. So I taught for a year in 5th grade before in the 08 and 09 school year. And then he joined the Army, so we moved and I taught in a lot of private kindergarten programs. So that is what these little years here are. Then within this teaching experience in Garden City, I have lots of leading experiences that I have been very fortunate to have. I have been the 5th grade math PLC leader in my building. This is my 4th year now. I've served as a mentor to new teachers. The year after I started here, I mentored 2 new teachers. The year after that, I mentored 1. I did not mentor anyone last year, and this year I am mentoring another 5th grade math teacher. I have also taken on the responsibilities of a part-time math coach. We lost our building math coach, so myself and 2 6th grade teachers took on that role, and we filled all the responsibilities that she had done. And I am also currently serving on a committee to rewrite all the assessments for our curriculum for the 5th grade teachers across the district. So I have been rewriting those so that they are created to better fit the needs of our students. Next is my annotated bibliography. And while I was researching articles, I tried to find articles that I felt really applied to me and the type of leader I wanted to be and the type of leader I will be because I am a woman. So I did look up some women leadership positions. I just thought it would be interesting to see how other women feel that the leadership position is for them. So I did do a lot of reading about women in leadership roles. And a lot of that was to see what kind of gap there was for them between their home life and their work life and how they made sure that they had an equal time for both, because that's something I've been really concerned about becoming a principal one day, is making sure that I spend an equal amount of time with my family and I also make sure I am doing what I'm supposed to do as a principal or a building leader one day. I also did a lot of research on diversity. We're just really diverse group of individuals here in Garden City. We have lots of diverse students. We have teachers that come from all over the states. So that was another interesting topic for me. And of course, I want to be the most effective principal I can be. So I did look up some articles about qualities that most effective principals have. And so I thought that was something good for me to read about as well. Next are my district activities. The first one that I put in my slide presentation was our district site council meeting. And this took place over 2 days. And we brought in an outside presenter, and he helped us recreate our vision and goals for the upcoming school year. And this team of individuals included the superintendent, the assistant superintendent. It included multiple principals. It included multiple teachers. It included families of our students, as well as community members. And we all came together to decide what was important for the students in Garden City. So that was really important for me to see, and I am very glad that I was able to take part in that. Next, I got to go to San Diego to an Illuminate Education user conference. And Illuminate is the data collection system we use. So I was able to go to that and then bring that information back and present it to my peers. I've also been to multiple technology and services that I've been able to share. And like I said, I have been the lead of our 5th grade math planning. So because I am also on that committee that is rewriting the assessments, I have been the lead of some collaboration days for our all staff in service. So it's a grade level and department meeting. So it's all 5th grade math teachers in the district, and I've been the lead of that. And what that means is making up an agenda and making sure we stick to the agenda, and bringing in talking points and taking notes and getting that information back to the principals of our schools and the coaches and our curriculum instructor for our district as well. And then the Superintendent's Advisory Council. This year, we also at my school decided to join the Community Christmas Parade. And the reason this is in a district activity is because we worked with multiple schools across the district to do this. This involved the city of Garden City, it involved community members, it involved families of our students, it involved students themselves and multiple teachers. And so I was on the community that the committee at my building, and we finally decided to do this, and we got to work with lots of different people to make this happen for our school. Next are my elementary activities. And I have been able to work with my principals on multiple occasions to talk to the staff and students at assemblies. This year, I had some ideas about a restructuring of our intervention program, and I brought that to my principal, and she let me run with it. So I did that this year as well. Like I said, I've been the math PLC leader for 4 years, as well as the part-time math coach. And as a mentor, I also get to do a lot of observations on new teachers in our school. And so I perform observations on them, and then I set up meetings with them afterwards to talk about some feedback and give them some ideas about what they could use to maybe help be a little more effective or work on their classroom management, or maybe some assistance with the curriculum. I'm also on our committee to bring in volunteers from the outside. So I brought in the fire department this year to help with our open house. So I get to do lots of work with community members, and that was really fun because my husband is actually a firefighter, so he was here on this day, as well as other activities there. This one was probably the most interesting of all of my activities for me. I decided to take a half personal day and replaced our TOSA, or our assistant principal, for the day, and I took on all her responsibilities. Well, this also happened to be one of the most stressful days for my building principal, because unfortunately we were in a real live lockdown situation. In our neighborhood, there was a stabbing and burglary, unfortunately, which meant our school went into lockdown. So I was able to see firsthand all the work with parents. I was able to see the work with the police officers. I was able to hear conversations with the educational support center. there was just so much going on this day. And so she was working with all that. And unfortunately, she had another incident where a student decided to bring alcohol into the building that day. So she was working with that whole situation and the discipline for that, and working with the parents for that. So I got to take all the other classroom discipline issues, students who were sent to the office, and that was my job for the day, was to work with those students and answer phone calls for the principal and whatnot. So this was one of my most amazing experiences, and I really learned a ton this day. Unfortunately, it was not one of my building leaders' better days, but I learned a ton throughout that day. And then we have many other nights that I have been involved in. Next is my secondary activities. Luckily, I know quite a few of the building leaders now, and I was able to work with the middle school to create some information for sixth grade student tours. And I've been able to go and be a chaperone, or as my building leader actually called me, she said I was the administrator for the day. So I was the acting administrator on this trip. I got to go shadow principals for the day, and we have a large high school. So there were 5 principals present at this meeting, and I got to look at their budget and see them talk about what they needed to do with the monies. I got to watch them do teacher checkouts. I got to listen to them with student discipline issues. I got to look at their new class schedule and hear them talk about the schedule and changes that might need to be made. And I got to see them make those changes on that large board there in the back. So that was really beneficial for me as well. I got to see this middle school principal working with the community. I went with him for the day as I shadowed him out into the community and listened to him talk to the people he works with and listen to them about those relationships. Many days I spent monitoring staff at some sporting activities, and same thing here, marshaling and supervising. Quite an interesting event to be at was a tournament, and I got to actually witness principals talking to unruly parents, and so that was really interesting for me as well. I am very non-confrontational, so that's something I needed to see. Here are my activity logs for all those dates that I had there. Here is my administrative signature. And the last thing I have is my reflection. I did have a lot of preconceived notions about what this program might look like. A lot of it was because it is online. I've never taken online classes, but I have been pleasantly surprised. It was super easy to navigate through the information I needed to get through, and my professors were really quick at getting back to me. I learned how to be patient by communicating with them through email. It was a great experience. I did think that I would be ready to step into a position having finished these 12 courses. However, I'm not quite so sure I am ready to jump right in. I think for myself, an assistant principal or TOSA, teacher on special assignment position, would be best. The last thing I want to highlight here is actually in my highlights. One of my courses, the EDL 856, School and Community Relations, I created a promotional video for my school. Well, I was talking to a fellow teacher about it, and my principal overheard, watched the video, and she thought it was such a great assignment that she actually used my promotional video at a board meeting. So I've had nothing but really great experiences. I have learned a ton, and I have really enjoyed a lot of the experiences that I had while taking courses through Fort Hays. And that is my reflection. Thank you.